Disney Star Wars Day. Welcome into Geeks and Gamers Daily. I am back after taking a day off to cover politics. And thanks to YouTube for not giving me many views on that video. I really appreciate it. But it's okay because Ryan's here. Mr. Positivity, what's up, man?
Yeah, Mr. Positivity, that's me. Disney Star Wars Day, Episode 6 of The Acolyte. We've only got 3 more episodes left, Jeremy.
I know, I'm sad. I'm sad.
We're only going to be able to talk about it for 3 more weeks.
I think we can find reasons to talk about it for well on beyond that. I can find a lot of reasons to make videos on this piece of shit.
If Leslye Headland gets her way and there's a season 2, that would be actually true.
I'm going to be making a video pushing for a season 2. I'm going to be advocating for it. We need a season 2. We need more lesbian space witches. We need more force scissoring. I think that's very important for the future of Star Wars to continue on that for sure. And we need trans representation. We need everything. We need everything. And I'm going to be advocating for that because I am an ally, Ryan. I am an ally. Are you an ally?
No.
Why not? I'm an ally for the algorithm. I'm an ally for the algorithm.
The algorithm is my ally, but no, I'm not an ally of lesbian. Listen, this is what I'm asking. If you're gonna do all this shit, don't go halfway, Leslye.
Yeah.
Right? We need to see these women scissoring. Okay, we need to see the space witches scissoring. We need to see same-sex kisses. You're doing all this queer-coded bullshit, so you're like, it's not queer with a capital Q. So you're like getting the best of both worlds. You're getting all these fucking simps and weirdos and pronouns and bio freaks on Twitter. They're like, oh my God, you can tell that Osha and Jackie have such a connection. They probably fucked or whatever. But you're not actually showing it. Go all the way if you really care about.
I agree. I agree completely. Just like I think the Rey movie should be like a strong black female with like 4 or 5 kids. You know, she's maybe about 100 pounds overweight, and she just runs around all day telling them to shut the fuck up. So she can do her shopping. Like, I need representation in Star Wars. Don't give me this half-ass bullshit. True representation, all right? Leslye what's her fucking name from the Ghostbusters movie? The black chick. Leslie Jones? Is that her name?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Leslie Jones. Like, that's what we need right there. I want to see that. All right? We need that. And I would be okay with that. Disney, you wouldn't make much money, but you'd help us out a lot on our YouTube channels. And that's the goal of Disney Star Wars, is to give us content that is so bad that nobody wants to watch it, but everybody wants to watch it being roasted. That's what Disney Star Wars exists for right there. And I'm okay with that. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome into Geeks Gamers Daily. Hope you're all doing well. And we've got, we're going to talk about something we've never talked about here. Disney and Marvel. Can you believe that? Disney and Marvel are going to be talked about today. Also, I just brought it up, though, to you, but we haven't really talked about it. The Superman suit. You see the latest pictures of it? Did that make it? I don't
think I've seen the latest ones, no.
Really? There's been a lot of, behind... Let me see if I can find those, and I'll show you. But there's, some... I thought, there were some that weren't great, and then there were others that looked kind of cool. So I can't believe you haven't seen a lot of those pictures going around.
I've flipped through some of them, but I really haven't looked too much. I saw that people are saying that, hey, look, there's a different suit and things like that. But no, haven't really paid attention to too much of it over the past few days.
All right, read some super chats and I'll find these and I'll show the audience as well.
Taker for $2. Seen theories about Abeloth being linked to Chimere? Not particularly, no. All the Abeloth stuff is for season 2, and I love how all of these people start coming out with their fucking theories, knowing nothing about this character. Maybe they looked at the Wikipedia page and they have no idea what they're fucking talking about. As usual, when it comes to anything Star Wars related, the vast majority of Star Wars content creators don't know anything about it. It's weird. Warwolf Morrow for 2. Sorry. Sent in airstrikes on Beardo's power.
He'll be okay. He'll be okay. I'm going to try to share my screen, Brian. We'll see what happens.
All right.
There we go. Okay. So we got a couple pictures here.
That's the same suit, yeah.
Yeah. Not different suit, just different pictures.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had heard people saying that there was going to be a different suit other than the one that we had seen revealed.
And that's a pretty good picture
Car.
right there. He's saving. No, I don't think that's a car.
I don't know.
What it is. But he's saving. I think he's saving a dog right there in that scene, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the latest we've seen. The suit still, like, he just doesn't look like, it's not like, again, you're going to be compared to Henry Cavill in terms of like how the suit looks, and it does still look like it's a little baggy on him. But overall, I'm very much looking forward to this movie. I'm still looking forward to James Gunn's Superman. I have hopes for it. So that's the latest right there.
I don't think I'm really looking forward to it. I'm interested to see what he does. I like I like the fact that a lot of these characters look like the characters are supposed to look like. You know, I like the idea that the first image we got of Lois Lane, one looks like Lois Lane and is dressed like Lois Lane typically appears in the comics, like with her outfit. I like that idea. I like the idea of that. We have gotten too far departed from bringing comic book characters to life on the screen with suits and with them looking the way that they should, in favor of this, oh, let's dress everybody in these like random dark combat suits or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I do like the idea of a movie where it feels like the comic books are like straight off the page and that's the outfits you get from them. Even if that might look maybe a little goofy or whatever, these are comic books. Like, it might look a little bit goofy or weird. This isn't supposed to be real fucking life, you know?
Listen, if today in 2024, if Christopher Reeve never existed and then suddenly he was cast as Superman and people just saw pictures of him in a Superman suit behind the scenes, the internet would fucking annihilate him. Holy crap. You know what I mean? Like,
the expectations are so much different then, you know?
I know, but I'm saying, like, now, if Reeve, Superman in that suit, you never knew about him, the internet would annihilate him. And I say that as somebody that considers him the GOAT of all GOATs. But the internet would go crazy. It's just like anything else. You know, the Heath Ledger casting, the Hugh Jackman casting, Ben Affleck casting. Ben Affleck cast as Batman. The entire internet hated him until they actually saw him. And then they ended up loving him. Except for me, I still hated it. But
every one of these, every time one of the most important characters in like entertainment history is cast, there's just crazy fucking backlash. There's massive arguments on both sides. It's very divisive. But all we have to go on is what we've seen, right? So it's tough.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, I thought that fans were just really racist and sexist, and they only complained about minority characters. I've never heard them complain about a white character ever. So this might be the first time they've ever complained about a white character.
Well, Mikey Gussler reminded me a couple days ago in a super chat that I had forgot all about this. When they first got permissions, when Warner Brothers was getting the permissions to film Superman Legacy, they had to reveal the estimated budget for it when they were filming in Cleveland, and it got published in some random Ohio news site. And the proposed budget, the estimated budget for Superman Legacy was $364 million.
Holy shit.
So you know, you're not exactly setting yourself up for success there. We've never had a Superman movie that made anywhere near that type of money that you would need for that to be profitable.
No, not at all. Holy crap. That will be a massive mistake if that turns out to be true. Woo!
Yeah.
I don't
understand. Of course, James Gunn came out like immediately when that started going out. He's like, this is not true. James Gunn lies all the fucking time on social media. Just constantly. James
Gunn needs to shut the fuck up, period, man. Like, it's such a... He's just...
You think he would have learned to be a little careful of what he posts on social media?
Dude, I know, man. Good Lord. Could you, like, seriously, I mean, could you imagine, like, Christopher Nolan just getting on Twitter and arguing with a fucking furry fucking avatar about, like, how The Dark Knight Rises sucked? You know, and how Bane's voice was annoying, and Nolan's like, you shut the fuck up, fucking furry. Like, you just...
That's typically not what James Gunn argues about.
I know, but even anything though, you know what I mean?
James Gunn is typically talking about news surrounding his movies, and it is funny. He's come back. He's like slammed Grace Randolph multiple times, like very directly towards Grace Randolph, which is funny. But yeah, he always tries to deny or say, "Oh, this isn't true," and then it gets revealed, and he's like, "Oh no, you're just straight up lying about that shit."
Yeah.
And for those documents for Superman Legacy, they were approved. They were signed by somebody financially at Warner Brothers. It said that was what this movie was projected to cost. So I don't fucking know.
And when is the release date for Superman Legacy, or it's not now? It's just
About a
called
year from now.
Superman. What is it called now?
Superman Legacy.
No, it's not Legacy anymore. Didn't they drop Legacy from it?
I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they officially dropped Legacy from the name. I don't think it's called Superman Legacy. I think it's just called Superman. I don't even think it's called like Superman the movie. Superman the movie is Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, I think it's just called Superman now, but yeah.
Which I think is much better than Superman Legacy. I don't think you have to add all this dumb bullshit to these movies. I mean, what was the Mission Impossible title?
Mission Impossible 7 Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Part 1. So fucking stupid, dude. It's so dumb. Just call it.
It's just Mission Impossible 7 Dead Reckoning.
It doesn't even need Dead Reckoning in it, dude. Just call it Mission Impossible 7 or 8
no, you do,
or
like
9.
they have established that because now you had Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3, but then you had Mission Impossible 4, Ghost Protocol, 5, Rogue Nation, 6, Fallout. So I don't mind having a little thing on there, but the Dead Reckoning Part 1 was the worst part.
Yeah,
so they've
so
dropped that, and now the next one's going to be titled something else. But that movie might go down in history as the most expensive movie of all time.
Really? The first one?
No,
Part 1?
The second one. Because they they're having massive problems. The submarine that they had to do a bunch of stuff fucking broke down. It's going to cost tens of millions of dollars to them, so it's going to be massively expensive. Let me see what I can find.
Mission Impossible Part 1, or Mission Impossible 7 Dead Reckoning Part 1 is the Titanfall 2 of movies recently. Fantastic movie, unfortunately, and nobody
Mission
went to
Impossible
see it.
8 budget is nearing $400 million.
Jeez. What is the most expensive movie on record right now? Avatar 2?
Maybe Avatar 2. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness costs $425 million, but they got the UK tax benefit that brought it down to $350 overall.
Yeah.
It might be, by the time it's all done, Black Captain America 4 might be one of the most expensive. That's sitting around $375 million now.
Bring it on, I guess. Yeah, I am sad that the Mission Impossible movies are. I don't know if they're declining, but it just. I don't feel that there's enough hype around the follow up. And how much did the most recent one lose? $200 million, probably.
Somewhere around that. Well, the decline is literally just the last movie. That's the only one that hasn't done well. All the other ones were kind of getting.
Yeah.
I think Fallout was the best they've had at the box office before Dead Reckoning came out.
Mm-hmm.
But those are also not movies that. Those are not movies that I feel like there's generally, there's a ton of hype and massive opening weekends. It's not how those work. Those are usually kind of slower burns with a big international audience.
I feel like a lot of people thought that the last one was going to be a lot better in terms of hype because it was coming off of Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, I do think that that's the case. Yeah.
I think that kind of shifted expectations a little bit higher than normal.
I'm looking up the franchise numbers for Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever been astronomically high.
No, never. I
mean, they've been decent because they're always a Tom Cruise action movie, but we're talking a few $100 million,
Yeah, so really when you get past Mission Impossible 3, right, which was made in 2006, it made $400 million worldwide. The next one's Ghost Protocol, $700 million, Rogue Nation, $700 million, Fallout, almost $800 million. and then Dead Reckoning made 575
Oof.
worldwide. But the problem with the 575 was that it cost $290 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it had the same budget as the rest, probably would have still broken even. But look at the opening weekends. You're talking the biggest opening weekend in Mission Impossible history is $61 million.
Which one was that?
That was Fallout. And then
Okay.
Dead Reckoning was like 55 million, like the second biggest opening. So these are not movies that typically have a massive opening weekend and a ton of hype surrounding them. They're actually movies that tend to draw kind of a little bit older audiences as well. And they tend to have good legs.
And I believe Sound of Freedom came out, and that was the movie that took a lot of its thunder. Sound of Freedom.
All the old white people were watching Sound of Freedom that would have normally, just being real, that would have normally been going to the theater to see Mission Impossible.
That's true.
Like, that's a factor.
Yeah, that is a factor. And there was another question I had about it, but I can't remember now. But yeah, I mean, Sound of Freedom definitely did take away from it for sure. No doubt about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
not like you can't blame the entire thing on that, but it certainly had an impact, and especially just in the news cycle. Like
Yeah,
that
you've
movie
got
had
to
a
be,
big impact.
you've got to be, that's something that you have to be aware of. There's way too much going on that people are, you have to get people's attention specifically now because there's so many more options that they're not just going to go to the movies multiple times. Go ahead, Ryan.
And also remember, Tom Cruise was like essentially set on this release date, but Barbie and Oppenheimer were coming out like the week after.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he like refused to move off the date. And he was mad that IMAX theaters weren't showing it and everything because they were prioritizing Nolan. And so that I guess the two of the biggest movies of that year did also probably
That's
not
true.
help Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot
by
of
the way,
factors, including some maybe pride from Tom Cruise.
I don't know if this was true. I didn't go back to see if it got community noted, but is it official that Dune Messiah is releasing the same weekend as the Rey movie? Is that I swear I saw that 2 days ago. That
I think if everything holds out now, they would be releasing at the same time. I'm not convinced the Rey movie will hit that benchmark.
that and they'll move off that, and that shows you where Star Wars is at, where their Dune is not scared of a Star Wars release.
Yeah,
like
and
they will move.
That's a long way away too. A lot of things.
That
can
is
change.
I know. Yeah, but
I mean,
that is
Dune
funny.
Part 2 moved its release date. Remember?
It did, but it didn't do it for production reasons, did it? It was more so
It did it for marketing reasons.
marketing reasons. Why did it move? Why was it COVID?
It was during the actors' strike.
It was an actor
And
strike.
they
is what
wanted
it was.
the
Yeah,
actors out there to promote the movie and stuff.
That's right. Yeah. So, but yeah, Star Wars. Like they have no power anymore, and that's what we're going to talk about. Leslye Headland, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, says she wants a season 2 of The Acolyte, and I also do as well, Leslye Headland. So we're going to work hard to really help you get that out there because I think that's very, very important. We'll read some super chats first, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, Andrew said they killed their movie by showing that stunt way before the release. Well, here's a surprise for you. They've done that for like the past several Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
Like complete big productions showing some of the biggest stunts they've done in the movie. You remember the fucking trailer for was it Rogue Nation, where Tom Cruise is like hanging on to that cargo plane?
Yeah.
And like you see it, that long shot of it actually. That's like a thing they've done with these Mission Impossible movies for a long time.
I think
that was not a part of it.
I think that one got more attention than previous ones because it was coming off of Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise was just higher than he's ever been in terms of his movie stardom, which says a lot because he's always been a massive movie star. So I think that really got a lot of hype just because of the Top Gun Maverick stuff, and more people saw it than normal. But yeah, they've done that before.
But imagine that being a reason that the movie didn't do well.
Yeah.
Wow, people were so excited about this stunt. That's why the movie failed.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Me
I
neither.
don't think so.
But let's get a couple of these super chats here. Joey Bag of Donuts for 199. Just remember, Clone Wars sucks. I could never forget. Health Minister of Belgium for 5. Breaking. I'm in talks for Acolyte Season 2 to play Jabba the Hutt's non-binary trans great grand person.
I hope it happens.
Jabba's probably alive right now, actually. You could just play him. Garfield's Bizarre Adventures for 10. Good news, everyone. My Hollywood spies have confirmed Lizzo and Jack Black were recently in Kathleen Kennedy's office wearing MAGA hats, demanding an end to wokeness in Star Wars.
I believe it. I 1000% believe that. That sounds very accurate right there.
And Jack Black. Jack Black is almost as fat as Lizzo right now. He's big. Yeah, I think he just lives off fucking cocaine because you just always see him like so energetic and shit. Jaded Feckett, bring it all down, Disney. # balls deep. Blabs the Tower Tard for 5. Yoda, the algorithm is my ally, and a powerful ally it is. YouTube creates it, makes it grow, surrounds us. Grifting beings we are, not this crude matter. I actually watched Empire Strikes Back on Saturday. It was great. James Norman for 199. If you watch Man of Steel behind the scenes, Cavill's suit wrinkled. It's a different, like, that was meant to be much more like form-fitting and skin tight than this one is, just in general. But like a lot of times, especially some of the first shots we saw of that suit, like, I don't think there's gonna be too many scenes where we just sit there and look at David Cornsweet just like crumpled over like this. Like crumpled over in a weird fucking way where he's not like standing up straight and proud and, you know, and everything. So I don't think it'll be that big of a deal when we see it on camera. On Rumble, BizJack for 5. Wheelchair bound Jedi win. We need one. It's not inclusive enough. We need one. B Barrett for 2. Jeremy, you did such a good job. You read all the super chats.
Hercules.
That sounds like Jill Biden talking. Bolt 95 Survivor for $1. Enjoyed last night's Fortnite stream. Set a good tone for my late night gaming. One more. Just one more. This is the dub. Hero's Journey. Let's go.
Yeah, man. It was, I should not have played that afterwards. I had videos to record. I will not do that tonight. I will be making videos.
TGV Monster for 5. Hi, Jeremy and Ryan. Nosferatu trailer looks great, but it's coming out in December. It should be coming out in October. It's a horror movie. I've heard good that people are excited for Nosferatu.
We need a good horror movie.
We need a good horror movie. Jason Yankovic for 5. My prediction for episode 8 is that Osha dies and May announces she's changing her name to May Skywalker. Anything's up in the air at this point. Ministry of Wrong Thing for 10. Shill's still in denial of Smiler Ren being Sith, even though Wikipedia has him listed as Sith under canon, and he himself said to call him Sith. Why won't Disney fans respect his preferred pronouns? Well, I mean, like, Wikipedia can only go on what they've been shown, right? But the actor himself, and just because he said some Jedi may call me Sith, that wasn't enough for me to be like, this guy's 100% a Sith, because it was just a weird way to phrase it. Who knows? But in an interview, Manny Jacinto said he described his character as a Sith Lord. So to me, now he could just be lying, I guess. Who knows? I mean, he obviously lied for a lot leading up to this because they were trying to save the twist, which I don't have any problem with. But like him saying it that way, pretty much like 99% in my mind confirms that it is a Sith Lord. Now, we did hear that apparently there's going to be another Sith that does appear in this. That got teased, I think, by Leslye Headland at some point. So there is going to be another Sith Lord that appears in this show, which that's not a surprise to me. I don't think it's going to go in depth. I think it'll just be like an appearance or something, or somebody like for no fucking reason igniting their lightsaber like we've seen over and over and over again. But we did hear from Leslye Headland herself.
That's Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. In case I've never said that on this channel, just trying to inform the audience.
That's true. We did hear from Leslye Headland in the aftermath of, you know, the big reveal of episode 5, the twist that literally everyone could see coming, that some media people had been saying it was a Game of Thrones-esque twist. Not exactly a surprise. But now Leslye Headland is saying, you know what? I've got a lot of great ideas for season 2 of The Acolyte. The Acolyte creator Leslye Headland talks about possible season 2.
Yes. Let's go.
Jeremy, you do want that. This is the first time
Absolutely.
you've asked for another season of Disney Star Wars.
I want 5 seasons of The Acolyte. I need all the diversity because I need all the Star Wars, because that is my favorite Star Wars, all the Star Wars.
Yeah, and this is obviously a big interview in the aftermath of episode 5, where some of the big spoilers are revealed. I do think they are now kind of desperate to drum up more interest in what's going to happen in these next few episodes now that reveal has happened. So that's one of the reasons they're like, another Sith might appear. That's one of the reasons, like you asked earlier, somebody asked about the Kylo Ren music that was playing in a little scene, just like 7 seconds of Kylo Ren theme playing when Chimera was on screen, and she's like, "Oh, there's a reason for that, but I can't get into that as of yet." Who knows? But there is one thing: she wants a season 2. You've mentioned a possible season 2. So not knowing when you crafted this, how many seasons you're going to get, did you craft a firm season finale ending like Obi-Wan Kenobi? Or is it teen up, more story to come like the way Ahsoka ended its first season? And I do agree with her philosophy on this, however. I'll tell you my philosophy on first season. Something I've noticed in first seasons will end on what should have been the break into Act 2. It feels like everyone's really expecting to get a second season, and I don't feel like that's a good idea. I think you should put everything you can into the first season, give the audience a nice resolution that feels satisfying, but enough nods to mysteries that you would want to see a second season. And this is
not a bad answer.
I think that's a good answer. But then this is the part that I thought was a little bit strange, because she gets into, there's 4 or 5 mysteries that she says she wants to get into for season 2. And maybe a 3rd and 4th, who knows how long ago. But she specifically said, I have 4 or 5 mysteries for season 2 that I'm saving that I want to unveil or reveal to everybody. I don't know what those would be. I don't know what mysteries we have left. There's 2 things that need to get decided. One, actually some definition on who Chimera is. Is he the Sith apprentice? I think he's the Sith apprentice. I don't think he's the master. And also, how is this going to be kept from the Jedi? Is it a fucking cover-up or not? Because quite frankly, all the other mysteries she's interested in, nobody actually cares about. The one thing that nobody cares about in this entire show are the 2 lead characters. May and Osha, no one gives a fuck about them. People are just talking about the continuity issues and also the idea of Chimera's reveal. Is he a Sith? Is he whatever? But the main characters, Amandla Stenberg's characters, nobody really cares about any mysteries involving her or her family.
I don't know if people even care about the Sith and who's the apprentice. They just want to know so they can continue. No one's invested in these stories at all, period. But we're really not we really don't care about the 2 main characters, to your point. But you know what I mean? But there's just
the only thing people care about is how badly does it fuck up Star Wars?
Yes, that's really
those are the things that people care about that we're arguing about right now.
Yes.
Not anything involving the actual characters themselves.
I agree, because there's nothing actually interesting about this show or the characters or the story that they're telling. There really isn't. I don't know. I'm not saying that there isn't anyone out there that is not interested. I'm talking about in general, though, that there's just no real, true, passionate discussions out there. A lot of the only people that are actually, quote unquote, excited about this show seem to only want to show their excitement in order to own the chuds. You notice that? They're like, I like this show, even though the racist and the sexist have a problem with it. I like it. And it's like, if you like it, who cares what the racist and the sexist think? Why not just be excited for the show that you claim that you're into? But they seem to have to frame it as, I'm excited, and the racist and the sexist and the chuds aren't. Okay? That doesn't... All you're showing is that you're just trying to push out there that you love this show because it has all the diversity in it, and that all these people that you've claimed are toxic fans hate it, so you're trying to pretend that you love it more than you do. It's a strange dynamic. And but I just don't see any real actual discussions going on about how this impacts the story, how this impacts the story moving forward. What's the next steps? All you hear about is how bad is this going to continue to affect the continuity of Star Wars. That's all people care about.
Yeah, no one's really attached to these characters at all, and that is the problem. That's the core problem with this show. is nobody cares about the story that they're trying to tell. We're interested in these other little things that are fucking up Star Wars.
And more people are interested in watching Disney Star Wars get roasted than actually watching Disney Star Wars. That is the truth. That is 100% the truth, because this show is getting so much traction on social media, but it's also, I mean, I don't know if we have any updates on the numbers. I know
So the numbers look horrifically bad. We're talking about, like, in terms of so far, we haven't got the official Nielsen numbers, but the Luminate numbers that have come out, which are estimates of the million minutes watched and all that stuff that we get officially when the Nielsen ratings come out a month after, those indicate that this is like a 60% drop off in ratings from Ahsoka, which was before the worst, the least viewed Disney Star Wars show.
Woof. That's rough. That's rough right there.
Especially when you spend $200 million on this thing.
Good Lord. That is awful. They are not going to recover from this one anytime soon. And do you think we're actually going to get a season 2?
I don't know.
I mean, we're not getting a season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I guess, has that already been, I know it's not officially announced, but I think it's pretty much.
Ewan McGregor keeps begging for it, but no. What else is there to show? Is he going to go save Leia again? Like, this shouldn't have been a first one if they were going to make him go off the planet. The problem is an Obi-Wan Kenobi show that they should make, they won't.
Right.
Because it's not going to involve him fucking dueling Darth, or it shouldn't, right? It shouldn't involve him dueling Darth Vader. It shouldn't show him infiltrating like some massive Imperial thing. It should just show him doing day-to-day shit on Tatooine, keeping watch on Luke, and meditating to try to learn from Qui-Gon. Like, that's it. Now, the Obi-Wan book itself was great because that's what the story was. There was very little like action or anything like that. It was Obi-Wan desperately trying to live this life where he didn't interfere in these things, but because of his Jedi nature, he found it almost impossible not to try to help in some way. But he had to do it in a way where he could not get found out ever. Otherwise, he was fucked. But what he was involved in is like Tusken Raiders raiding villages, you know, on the outskirts of these towns, not fucking traveling to different planets and dueling Darth Vader.
Yes. Well, hang on. Now, what was the line at the end of Obi-Wan that he said to Leia, the young Leia?
Someday you'll be older, or something like that, right? Oh, you're very young now, but you won't always be.
Somebody check his Twitch whisper messages.
He's like, someday you'll be on the Death Star with your titties flopping as you run through a passageway as I deactivate tractor beams. Because George Lucas lied to you and said there's no bras in space.
What a fucking shit show that show was. So we're not getting a season 2 of that, it would seem. And even though Ewan McGregor is begging for it, for sure. Maybe you should have thought about that before you called the entire audience racist and sexist, Ewan McGregor. Maybe you should have thought about that one, even though it wouldn't have helped, because that show's just a dog shit anyway. But I don't think we're going to get an Acolyte season 2. I really don't. As much as that makes me sad to say that, I don't think we're getting one.
Yeah, I think that once like official like numbers come out, or the ones that we feel are the most official from Nielsen, that might give us another indication. But shit, they gave Ahsoka season 2, but I think that has a lot more to do with Dave Filoni's grand plans for Star Wars in general.
Yes.
Than it does in isolation. I mean, Andor got a season 2 as well. But
that was well received. That was well received,
but it wasn't like a ratings monster or anything.
Right.
The only thing that it did better than, I believe, was Ahsoka. Now they premiered about the same, but Andor retained viewers over time, whereas Ahsoka lost more viewers over time.
I think you can look at that, and at least you can see that there is some positive discussions and some positive things moving forward with the Andor, but there's nothing in any of these other series up to this point that has been positive momentum moving forward. You know what I mean? None. It's been none.
I really do think that a lot of the future of what they decide to do is going to be based on this Mandalorian Grogu movie. I think they want to kind of stop just spamming out these Disney Plus shows that cost so much money and don't bring them anything in return. And I think the idea that they've basically transformed Mando season 4 into a movie, like that's what they're doing. If it does decent for them, then maybe they just stop spamming out so much of these bullshit streaming shows and they focus more on theatrical releases. But it really is going to depend on what we see.
The Mandalorian movie is going to be a very strange release, man.
It's going to be. I have no idea what to predict for it. I also have no idea what they're going to spend on it. What I think they should do is film it the exact same way. Use the volume. If you're going to do a whole movie, maybe up some of the production value, because those, the seasons of Mandalorian don't cost much. That's the one thing they have going for them. $90-100 million or something based on the way they use the volume. So if you can do a movie for say 150 million, and that would mean if you make 500 million at the box office, you're breaking even, and plus you're actually making money if they made 500 million at the box office from that. That's something reasonable that they could maybe would be sustainable if they start doing things like that. But still, if you start spamming out movies the same way you've spammed out TV shows, people aren't going to go support that time after time either.
That's right.
But if that's your goal, if you're setting a break-even point at like 450 million, then that could be successful. If you spend $300 million on a Mandalorian Grogu movie, I don't know if you're going to make your money back.
Mandalorian coming out either after season 1, a Mandalorian movie coming out either after season 1 or after season 2 would have been a massive fucking hit. Would have been huge. I don't know. Again, it's impossible to predict right now, but it feels like they've ran all that goodwill out with Mandalorian after season 3.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't even where is Baby Yoda at these days in the story? Because I didn't watch season 3. I didn't watch Ahsoka. What the fuck is he doing now? Where the hell is he at? Or where's he at within the timeline of whatever this?
You need to educate yourself.
Fuck that.
He's back with Mando, like.
Just like hanging out, going through the galaxy, just chilling.
And he got a.
Is he using Baby Yoda to like pick up chicks? Like, oh, he's so cute.
Well, maybe. I think he used to get kind of close to Bo-Katan, but no. So the way it worked was Luke Skywalker came and kidnapped him and didn't give a fuck about anybody else. Deadeye's fake Luke Skywalker. And then in Book of Boba Fett, like a couple weeks later, Mando like misses him and goes to visit him in Luke's like new Jedi Academy, where you see a droid building the hut that Kylo Ren would get almost murdered in by his fucking uncle. He's training. Grogu's training with Luke, and Ahsoka's there watching, and Mando and Ahsoka have this dumb conversation. But effectively, Luke Skywalker gives Grogu a choice. Do you want to stay and learn with me and become a Jedi, or do you want to go back with the Mandalorian? And he gets sent in Luke Skywalker's X-Wing with R2-D2 piloting it back to Tatooine to meet back up with the Mandalorian and help Boba Fett fucking overthrow some gangsters or some shit. So in season 3, he's just right back there. He's just right back there with Mando. They're hanging out. Eventually, he does actually get this droid body. This is so dumb. A family of Babu Fricks help Grief Karga.
Sounds like a meme. Sounds like a meme.
A family of Babu Fricks help Grief Karga make a droid body that Grogu can sit in so he can like move around faster and shit. And it also has, he can talk with it, but he only can say 2 things. He can say yes or no. So he's just constantly pushing buttons. Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. But he's back with Mando.
I like that answer. Getting marked down at Ollie's is what he's doing. That's pretty accurate right there. You can't deny, though, the Baby Yoda craze was one of the biggest pop culture moments we've seen.
It was a hit.
It was like, fucking huge.
I think it was bigger than even they thought it was going to be.
It was. I mean, you talked to somebody that confirmed that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I remember
we talked to someone that confirmed it's the biggest thing they had seen in a long time with the Baby Yoda craze. And I believe it. I mean, it was everywhere. But just like everything with Disney Star Wars, whatever goodwill they had, they've ruined that too. You've even pissed off a bunch of fucking middle-aged women at this point. Even they don't care about Baby Yoda anymore.
Yeah, you eventually get, and that's the thing. Like, as soon as they let him talk, like they can't age him up because as soon as they let him talk, no one's gonna care about him anymore. Like, not in the same way. 'Cause right now, it's all based on the cuteness factor of that, and a dichotomy between a sort of like deadpan Pedro Pascal, kind of emotionless Mandalorian, and this literal baby.
Yeah.
And
what a
I
disaster.
think it's run its course. As much as I was saying this last night, because I was watching Narcos last night, I hate that I despise Pedro Pascal so much as a person, but almost everything he's in, I really like him in. With the exception of, well, obviously Mandalorian, but that's just his voice. But also that Wonder Woman 1984, he was bad in that. I don't really blame him. I blame that fucking movie. But almost everything I see him and I like him in, which is frustrating because I kind of hate him.
What was he was in some Netflix movie I watched.
Triple Frontier.
Yeah, with Ben Affleck and Charlie Hunnam. Yeah, that was a good movie. That was a really good movie.
He is good in that too.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Last of Us, like, I don't think that he's bad in The Last of Us. I think The Last of Us show is bad. I think he's not the worst as Joel.
Did you watch the show?
So I watched like 3 or until the gay episode.
You thought it was bad before the gay episode or just after?
I thought it was fine. It was leading into, like, it was doing a good job of just like following the storyline of the show for the most part. But then the gay episode happens, and it's all it was about gay sex, gay bathhouses. I don't know if anybody understands this. Nope.
Do you think the show's trash though?
Fuck
I didn't watch it out of like principle. I did see some clips, including like the final, where Joel has to like go through the hospital to save Ellie. If you can find that scene, you should watch it because it is pretty well done. But yeah, as much as I despise Pedro Pascal as a person, I ended up liking him in a lot of shit.
Just for those that are aware, this is what I was talking about. This is what I was referencing.
It was all about, gay bathhouses and everybody. It's all about round the clock sex. It's all. Come on, man.
That's the Last of Us episode right there.
That's such a different Joe Biden. I know. You know what I mean? Like, even with all the gaffes he had before, that is such a different person than the shell of himself that exists now.
I agree. By the way, we did have some, and I know this is not something that we get into here. I'll cover it later on D-Day Cobra, but looks like Trump's sentencing has been postponed until after the RNC because of his challenging of the case after the immunity was announced yesterday. So it looks like he's not going to be sentenced for his New York conviction. So yeah, the plot thickens, man.
They should really just hold off until after the election in general. I think that's probably what a lot of people that are involved that aren't completely fucking partisan want to happen, because they know what a shit show it would be if they're responsible for sentencing like that leading up to the election.
Mm-hmm.
See. Wesley for $2. Smilo is trans Sith. Not really a Sith, but identifies as one. It may be. He wouldn't be the first person to just claim that he is without actually being one. Let's see. Tobias. Hey now, I enjoyed those movies, Jeremy. Don't drag us furs into those weirdos. We have standards. What movies?
Yeah.
When did you shit on furries?
I said something about furries in reference. What was I? Tobias, you watch enough. There's no.
I'm gonna be honest. If you are a furry inherently, I'm gonna think you're degenerate until you prove me or not. That's the way the world works for me. So Tobias, I think you've done enough to prove you aren't. I trust you now. You're the trusted member of the furry community, the only one that I trust. The rest, I assume, are actually like fucking dogs, except for you. Crispy Nokin, member for 16 months. Scan in and hail all. We're in the second half of 2024, and it keeps getting crazier damn near every day. Bring on the fireworks and bathe in the W's. Yeah, 4th of July coming soon. Jobus for 10. Love you guys. Thanks for always entertaining me at work. Here's some money. Have a great week, everyone. Caveat ties for 199. Snow will be up there in cost. Yeah, Snow White's going to be very expensive as well. Spiderclaw for 10. Not excited for Deadpool and Wolverine. Don't trust Disney or Ryan Reynolds. And he was a great actor, but overrated as Wolverine. Not for Gunn soups either. Already race swapped Hawkgirl. What's next? Well, I guess we should talk a little bit about Deadpool Wolverine, because that is right around the corner. I think a few weeks from now, Deadpool Wolverine is going to release. Deadpool and Wolverine's going to release. And despite it being a rated R movie, it looks like it's going to be fucking massive. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good, and doesn't necessarily mean it'll save anything, but it does look like it's going to be huge. Deadpool and Wolverine looking to slash box office records with a $200 million opening.
What happened to the superhero fatigue? It's amazing.
Yeah, well...
It's almost like it never existed in the first place. Just shitty movie fatigue.
Well, I feel like your argument kind of goes back and forth on that sometimes as well. But when it does come to this...
Hang on, how does mine go back and forth?
What's that?
How does mine go back and forth?
When we have these discussions, you'll say, well, they're spamming out so much stuff or whatever, and that we go through this, and the idea is if they weren't putting out if Marvel wasn't putting out 5 things every year, even if they were all great, there would still be some form of this isn't as special as it used to be. Do you agree with that?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, that's what Marvel did. But Marvel did that. Marvel did that, and it peaked with Endgame. So all of the stuff they were putting out it still ended with Endgame at the highest point.
And that was when we were getting 3 Marvel projects a year, right? Now we're getting 3 Marvel movies, except for this one with the strikes delayed. We're getting 3 Marvel movies a year and like 2 or 3 Disney Plus shows that are far longer in content. You're talking 6-8 episodes for these things. So the amount of spamming for specifically like phase 4 and 5 of the MCU is way more than it was leading up in the build up to phase 3.
I think that, I mean, I agree with that, but my point being is that we still were getting a lot of content, and it still was not slowing down the overall momentum of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The more content we were getting with the MCU, the better that the MCU produced. Like, they were pumping out more content in phase 3 than they were phase 1, and it performed better in phase 3 than phase 1.
I agree with that, and I think it was all leading up to something big, and then that big thing happened.
Right, and then since then it's done. But
I don't think that the quality of phase 3 was as good as the quality in phase 1, yet it was doing better. So the idea that those movies were better quality, all of them in phase 3, you had bangers like Infinity War, and obviously Endgame was big, but it was very fucking flawed. But you also had shit come out during that time frame that wasn't good. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp, I don't think was a very good movie. Captain Marvel made $1 billion and it wasn't a good movie. So it's not like all of those were just such great quality that they made money. They were building the franchise. People were excited about it. But it's more than just, well, that was good or this was bad.
Well, but I guess I just don't understand what you're saying is on both sides, because I'm pretty consistent of just saying that there's no such thing as superhero fatigue. There's only a such thing as bad movie fatigue. That's always been my argument.
Yeah, but then when we get into the discussions, I think you have said before, even when we've had these discussions, maybe on FNT or here, that if something becomes not special anymore, that is a contributing factor. We're talking about franchise fatigue, superhero fatigue, whatever. It is kind of true. These things don't feel special.
Well, the special nature, yes.
The only way that they feel special now is when you do go all out, fucking Spider-Man No Way Home, 1 million fucking cameos, nostalgia everywhere. The same thing is happening with Deadpool. It makes you feel like it has to be an event movie to be special, because we've seen these standalone superhero movies time and time again. We get all these fucking Disney Plus shows.
Yeah, well, that's more of a fan level, though, than the overall performance level. So, I mean, Call of Duty doesn't feel special anymore, even though it's annualized. It still is successful as fuck every time it comes out. But there's no special build-up to it. You know what I mean? But it's annualized. Whereas if you have something like Smash Bros., there's something special about Smash Bros. When a new Smash Bros. Comes out, because it releases once every 7 or 8 years. But it doesn't change the success of Call of Duty for whatever reason it was being annualized, even though I think they've had shitty games too. Modern Warfare 3 is one of the worst fucking releases of all time, in my opinion, the most recent one. So, but that's just an annualized model. But yeah, that takes away from the special nature of it. Like, that's where Star Wars lost a lot of the special nature. But it wasn't until they just started producing terrible movies is where it really had a bad impact. Anyway.
Well, I think
I just wanted to get your clarification
like,
on that.
Marvel had some terrible movies in there that were successful at the time. And I think that we've seen... even with some of these things, even if you produce a banger, like for instance, you talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 3, right? Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you think that significantly underperformed compared to what the quality of what you thought it was, right?
Yeah, well, I thought it would have made $1 billion if the Marvel Cinematic Universe would have been operating better, probably, based on the trajectory of how the first film and the second film performed, and the third one, it just didn't. And it had a slow start at the box office because of the MCU, and I think it picked up after. So I think that $1 billion should have that was kind of the tops that film could have done if the MCU was operating properly at that time. Because let's be honest, the Ant-Man movies overperformed massively because of the MCU. Those movies on their own with no connective tissue, those movies would have never made the money they made. If just an Ant-Man movie comes out randomly for no fucking reason, they're not going to make like 600 million or 500 million or whatever they made, but because of their connection to the MCU, they were elevated. You agree with that?
Well, yeah, that's like, that's one of the most impressive things I thought was about like the beginnings of the MCU is the fact that they did take B-level characters and, not their top tier, not the Fantastic Four, not the X-Men, not Spider-Man. And they were able to grow them into
I agree.
the biggest franchise we've ever seen in history. Now, we got Spider-Man eventually pulled in there. We had a couple more connections as they acquired Fox and everything. And obviously, we're really getting into fucking Fox X-Men in this specific movie. But despite Deadpool and Wolverine being R-rated, I don't know how much it's going to impact the box office. We all really questioned whether it was going to make $1 billion, and so it's certainly not a guarantee or anything, but it's looking more and more like it as we get closer.
Well, so this $200 million
projected opening.
Is this domestic?
Yes.
That's a domestic opening.
Yeah, right now you're looking at
hell.
People saying around 175 to 200 million domestic opening weekend.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's a lot.
Be insane. It would be a record breaker for a rated R. I think the biggest one before this was Deadpool 2, which may have made like 130 million opening weekend. Is
it opening around the globe at the same time, or is it one of those staggered releases around the world, or is it for most areas? Is it opening everywhere, or do we know yet?
I'm not sure, but my guess would be that it's probably everybody's going to open almost the same time.
So I wonder if it's got the potential to do 400 million worldwide opening weekend. That would be huge if this thing opens at because the headlines are going to say 400 million opening weekend. That's what the headlines are going to say.
Now, just because it does that doesn't necessarily mean it will. Multiverse of Madness. Remember what that opened to globally?
Oh, 100%. That was like 450 million.
450 million for Multiverse of Madness,
but the word of mouth was awful. Right. Awful. I don't see that happening with this movie being that bad. That was some of the worst word of mouth I think I've ever seen in any movie.
Neither do
bad.
I. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. I actually think it's going to be fairly good. I don't think that this is going to do anything to boost up future MCU movies. I don't think this is going to do anything to help Captain America 4 or the Agatha show or any of the other shit that's coming out. I do think in isolation this is going to be massive. And I do think it's going to be funny and people are going to enjoy it. I don't know if it'll be a great movie or anything, but with all the cameos that they have coming out, there was screenings for Deadpool Wolverine that include some spoilers that are now out there, including a massive fight. We talked about this on, I don't know if it was FNT or this show or whatever, where we watched a little clip of Deadpool Wolverine where Wolverine is facing Sabretooth. And Wolverine says something to the effect of, people have been waiting decades for this fight. I was like, I don't think this is that fight. I don't think that people have been waiting for Wolverine versus Sabretooth for decades. Like, cool, whatever, but I don't think that Deadpool would make that comment. I think that comment was fucking lifted from somewhere else, and now I think I know what it was. These are all over Twitter, so fair warning. Potential spoilers for Deadpool. Go ahead.
Now, I have not seen any Deadpool trailers, but I did see some clips. So this is Sabretooth from the original X-Men movies, right?
Yeah.
I fucking loved that version of Sabretooth. I can't remember that guy's name. What's that guy's name? I think he might have been an old wrestler. But I do feel like there's at least, I don't know. I thought that Wolverine, I always wanted to see more from that, to be fair. But I think generally speaking, you're correct. It's not really something people have been talking about.
Yeah, that's not like something fans have been begging for decades.
Tyler Mane. Yeah, Tyler Mane. That's his name.
But this, and again, I want to give you guys warning, spoilers potentially possible for Deadpool and Wolverine. Not a ton of stuff. There's a lot of fucking spoilers that are out there, but this is one specific thing.
But by the way, so this is not the Sabretooth from X-Men Origins.
Correct.
This is the Sabretooth from the first X-Men movie, and I think, was he in X2? I know he was in his first X-Men movie for sure. And I thought he was a better Sabretooth than whatever his name was that was in Origin. Leave Shriver or something?
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
But here it is. 30 to 40 minutes of Deadpool and Wolverine was shown today during an event in Shanghai. Here's a spoiler description / review of some of the footage. So this is just 30 minutes of it. I think there's a lot more spoilers that are actually there. Overall, very violent and funny. Great action sequence, great score, some emotional scenes. I don't really care too much about these things. Always very violent, very funny. Violent connection with the end of the Logan film. Many variants of Logan appear, including a zombie version. Many jokes about Fox and Disney. Many cameos. Wolverine versus the Hulk. That, I think, is like a fight that would constitute, hey, people have been waiting forever for this.
Mm-hmm.
And in this multiverse thing they're doing, I would love if they did an actual version of the Hulk, not fucking Professor Hulk, queer bitch, Mark Ruffalo, like he currently exists in the MCU. That would be something that I think fans have been asking for decades. That could be a big spoiler for the movie. But I don't know. I think the movie is going to be massive. It's hard to deny that it's probably going to pass $1 billion at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is now is it going to beat Inside Out 2? I don't think it's going to beat Inside Out 2. I don't think it's going to hit 1.5 or whatever Inside Out 2 is going to end up hitting. But it's looking like it could be $1 billion film.
I think it's as crazy as it is. I think it's almost guaranteed.
Yeah. I don't know if it's guaranteed. I don't know if I could say guaranteed because it's rated R. That's the only reason. It is, and I don't know how much of an impact that has now versus what it used to have. I mean, hell, you
but
got
also
people.
$1 billion doesn't mean what it used to mean either. With inflation and ticket prices being out of control, $1 billion is $1 billion today is like $700 million 5 years ago.
I would argue though, and you're not wrong in the specifics of your point, but the bottom line is we only have $1 billion film so far this year, so it still is a benchmark.
It 100% is,
yeah.
But
what it just doesn't mean in terms of the money and the what it means in terms of to make that in terms of ticket sales and shit like that.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like, if the same amount of people go to this movie that went to Deadpool 2, this movie would hit like 1.1 billion.
Correct.
Like because of ticket price inflation and general inflation, maybe even more than that. So, and that's one thing that as we've been watching these MCU movies come out, despite some of them may be doing okay at the box office in comparison to this. Remember when the Thor Love and Thunder thing, people were like, oh, look at the massive opening weekend, but you really compared it and fewer people went to see that Thor movie opening weekend than virtually any other entry in the franchise. When you actually looked at the people going versus the amount of money they made. So it is a factor because you can charge more for less people, but eventually that's going to come to bite you in the ass.
You want to know how to guarantee $1 billion for Deadpool and Wolverine? Give me Wesley Snipes' Blade. Give me a cameo for Wesley Snipes' Blade. $1 billion guaranteed.
There is a rumor circulating about that.
Is there? I didn't even know that.
There's a rumor circulating about that. That's not just a cameo. That's like,
dude, if Wesley Snipes' Blade shows
a significant role
what?
in the movie.
Dude, I hope he escapes prison for his tax evasion as Blade. He's like, fuck y'all.
Maybe.
I'm still pissed that Wesley Snipes did any jail time, dude. It's Wesley Snipes. It's past your 57. You can't do that. Man deserves a lifetime of benefits for the greatness he's given us on screen. Very frustrating. Dude, that would be amazing if that happens. I've stayed away from everything on this movie, so I know nothing of this movie outside of what we just saw. We'll see. Wesley Snipes is the GOAT. When's the last time Wesley Snipes was in a feature film? I can't remember the last time Wesley Snipes was in something like major. Now we're getting everybody's favorite Wesley Snipes role, Simon Phoenix, which is probably what a lot of people are going to say. Demolition Man. I haven't seen Demolition Man in a long time. I need to watch Demolition Man again. That is such a phenomenal movie.
Demolition Man is good.
It is really good. It's really good. Expendables. Yeah, I've watched a lot of the Expendables movies. So seeing don't bring Tu Wong Fu up, please. That's the one thing we don't discuss here on this channel in reference to Wesley Snipes and his greatness.
Crispy Nokin, member for 16 months. Scan in and hail all. We're in the second half of 2024 and it keeps getting crazier damn near every day. Bring on. Oh, I said that one already. What the fuck?
Well, hail Crispy Nokin. You got a second.
Hail Crispy Nokin anyway. Let's see. Where the fuck did it go? Oh, best thing to come from the Acolyte would be Stargrift. Also, Ryan, check out Berserk 1997 if you've never seen it. I don't know, but it's great. And I'm reading it now.
Ryan's a big anime fan, so drop all your recommendations for anime to Ryan, please. He's been looking. He instead of like him, because he always texts me. He's like, "Hey, I need some anime recommendations." I'm like, "I'm busy, bro." So you guys send Ryan your anime recommendations. He really appreciates it.
Yeah, Chris B for 5. Once Acolyte's over, you can continue to trash Red Letter Media's bad takes for content. Their loony fans are sour over EFAP's clowning on Red Letter Media's bad takes.
I saw that. Yeah. Imagine Red Letter Media of all places saying, if you don't like it, don't watch it. What?
Yeah. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
It's so weird, man.
Okay. Man, you guys would... maybe they just felt like they really had the market cornered on criticism of Star Wars, and I don't know. I've always enjoyed those guys' content, but there does seem to be their past couple videos. It feels like there's been more of a focus on other content creators talking bad about something than about like their actual feelings about it. Seems weird.
The landscape of movie criticism on YouTube has significantly shifted in the last few years, and that's upset some people.
I just really hope Rich Evans is like sitting there at a computer watching my videos. Like, we gotta get this clip. We gotta get this clip in the new one. Like, I hope that's happening. Durag Bob Iger for 2. I told Robert not to buy Star Wars. Yo, Holmes. Knee pain for 5. The Acolyte could have been worse. Lizzo could have been Smilo Ren.
That would have made it so much better.
Imagine her fat ass trying to dodge a lightsaber. She's getting free lipo by the Jedi as she's trying to dodge around there. Kid Woko broke for 20. What's up, Ryan and Jeremy? I'm just here to say my favorite 2 words. Fuck Disney.
Hell yeah.
Jeremy, did you see Talk to Me? Horror from 2023?
I haven't seen that one.
John Papasergio, the biggest revelation from the Acolyte will be the saying, "May the Force be with you," derived from "May the Force be with you." God.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
I bet Epstein's former personal assistant will do a lot of forced scissoring back in the day. Forced, not force, but yeah. JB, member for 9 months. You notice how cheap Dan Vasquez has been lately? When is the last time he sent money since you made him a moderator on Cobra Kai?
I know. It's over, man. This is why you can't really embrace people that you feel sorry for because they have no career and no legitimacy whatsoever. I made a mistake by giving Dan a wrench.
Yeah. Can't give him any power like that. Tobias next for 10. Calling the detractors racist, bigots, haters, etc. is their only defense. They can't defend it. They've latched onto attacking others because it's their go-to defense that doesn't require logic. Mr. Bigot for 5. Out on the road, making sure America gets their Bud Light, a.k.a. transmission fluid. Swig of water for the working man. Hail to 199. Thank you, Mr. Bigot. Ministry of Wrong Thing for 5. We're not getting into season 1. It's been a sizzle reel. That's right. I forgot that Acolyte is not a real show. It's just a sizzle reel. It's all fake. Kathleen Kennedy already has a retirement speech, and they've got the programs printed out. She's going to retire at Celebration. Yeah, I remember. Aaron Glendenning for 2. Obi-Wan season 2 needs to be Jedi/Splinter Cell. No, it just needs to be Obi-Wan fucking sitting in the desert doing nothing, which not a lot of people want to watch. Eric Guidewall with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Eric. Taker for 5. So Mother Kirill is obviously the same species as Darth Maul, right? They're both Zabrak. They're a little bit different. Mother Kirill is like an Iridonian Zabrak, but yeah, they're technically both Zabraks. I think she's the person behind Chimere, and that's how he knows about what happened. I think there's more for the mother. There's definitely going to be more for the mothers to be in play in these next couple episodes. Al Simmons Hellspawn for 10. Ryan, they want to bring Luke as a weak, nerfed, emasculated beta Jedi back to be Ahsoka's side piece, and they're going to have Ahsoka beat Abeloth, a character that took all 3 Mortis gods to beat her. We'll see. There's a lot of fucking scoopers who have been like wrong about a lot of shit coming out with stuff about Ahsoka season 2 as well. I would not doubt at all. Obviously, that you could tell it was kind of a tease for like the Mortis gods, and the idea of Abeloth, them using it wouldn't be crazy. There's a lot of people that have no idea who that character is that have speculated about that as it is. So I guess only time will tell. And yeah, obviously they're going to use Luke in some capacity in Filoni's like movie that he has. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be in a season 2 cameo or wait to the actual movie itself. Who fucking knows?
They're going to use him for marketing for sure. For sure.
I mean, if they're going to use him, they should recast him. This idea of using the fucking software to make it look and sound like Mark Hamill. Just find somebody that fucking looks like enough like Mark Hamill and do it.
Honestly, the best thing you can do right now is to just recast Mark. Honestly, I'm almost to the point. Let's just make the original trilogy so we can get a different Luke Skywalker. Because fuck Mark Hamill.
Well, he's probably going to be black and gay.
I don't care. That'll be better than Mark Hamill. That'd be better. A gay black Luke Skywalker is better than Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's a piece of shit. He's always been a piece of shit, and he has lost all credibility in a lot of people's eyes. Fuck Mark Hamill.
And eventually it is going to come to that, and there's going to be like people are going to be fucking seal clapping like the queers that they are when. Like Ahsoka and Luke have some like in-depth conversation about Anakin. Like that is going to happen. And it's going to be completely fucking unearned. And you're going to have retards that will get excited about it. I guarantee fucking to you. VJ the Vigilant becomes a channel member. Thank you, VJ. Lord Botha for 5. Man, it was expected to be edgy, brutal adult Star Wars. It's now turned into a silly kid show. Yes, kind of has. You're right. Stay-at-home Hippo for 10. With Disney's track record, they would say Revan was a gay woman and had a forced child with Bastila to be in open relationship with Juhani and Mission, especially with their track record with kids. I don't want them touching KOTOR at all. Jonathan Staten for 199. Where does Dave Filoni's dog meme come from? Because he's obsessed with wolves, and so like 5 years ago, I started making jokes about him fucking dogs, and
now we have accounts. Now we have his hit. But listen, I mean, you never can tell on the internet, so I don't want to assume that it's just 100% real. But we're pretty big deal here at Geeks and Gamers. So like Dave Filoni's dog actually subscribes to the channel and sends us super chats occasionally. It's difficult to hear sometimes, but and again, I can't confirm if it's 100% his dog, but I mean, we're a pretty big deal around here.
Agreed. Danger. When I thought it said Danger. Danger UXO. With the Deadpool movie, will the pokes at Disney be hard, or will we get South Park Pandaverse level? Great show as always. Thanks again. I think there's going to be a shit ton of them just shitting all over Marvel and Disney and the multiverse and the MCU stuff. It's all going to be in Deadpool fashion. You know what I mean? But I think there's going to be a lot of jokes about it. Steven DeLeon for 2 for Jeremy's eyebrow transplant fun.
Thank you.
Golden Nuggets. Do you guys seen Cobra Kai trailer? I did. It was okay.
I did not. And really, I mean, again, if I see these trailers before on a stream, I'm gonna watch them. But I'm obviously excited for Cobra Kai, the final season, just like I'm excited for Deadpool. But I'm not going out of my way to watch trailers unless I'm on a stream.
The Exalted Patriarch. Liev Schreiber is rumored to be in talks for Ahsoka season 2 to play Baylan Skoll. I'd rather be Graham McTavish. I did see that. I think both of them would be like okay choices for the Balin recast. Weird that they're it's easy to recast him. You can't recast fucking Chadwick Boseman though. Anybody else dies, they get fucking recast immediately. Not Chadwick Boseman, because we got to make it about a movement. We got to capitalize on his death. That's literally what Disney did.
One of the worst things they've ever done, dude.
They fucking use Black Panther and pretend like they actually give a shit about black people, while in China they cover his face up, right? Release it during Black History Month, all this shit. And then when the man dies, in a pretty horrifying way, a guy who I have a lot of respect for how he went out in terms of not trying to get public sympathy, in terms of still appearing and like trying to make kids happy while he's in a ton of fucking pain. And they instead of recasting like they do with everybody else, they used his death as propaganda to promote this fucking movie. It's despicable, to be honest.
It really is. Like, I don't think that we talk about that enough. It's really fucking, like, it's bad what they did with Black Panther 2. It's pretty, it might be the single worst thing they've done with all of their entertainment properties. Of all the problems that they've had, what they did with Black Panther 2 is truly next level disgusting, man. It really is. And then, like Ryan said, you add to the fact that, like, Chadwick Boseman, like, he never said a word about any of this. And he just, you know, it was very respectable how he handled it. And he clearly didn't want to make it about him. That was clearly not what his focus was. Disney decided we're going to make his death about us. Fucking that's nasty, dude.
It really was. Matt for 5, New Jack City. Sit your ass down before I make change, or sit your $5 ass down before I make change. Best roll, not even close.
New Jack City.
Yellow Flash for 2. Ryan, check out Ranma 1 and 2. Or Ranma half. I don't know.
Yeah, Ryan.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, let's get those anime recommendations rolling for Ryan.
Mikey for 5. Ryan, Zack Snyder confirmed on Viewer the Snyder Cut will be released in theaters. He'll announce the date very soon. # restore the Snyderverse. I think it's a little too late to restore the Snyderverse based on them spending a lot of money on James Gunn, but people want to go see it. We'll see what the demand is at this point in time for a Snyder Cut theatrical release.
There's no way they're going to release that in theaters.
That would have, like, to me, it sounds like that would be like a couple big events that get put on.
Maybe like locally, like in New York and LA or some shit like that.
Maybe LA, Miami, New York, Chicago, maybe like 4 theaters around the country, special event, something like that. But in terms of, hey, releasing in 3,000 theaters nationwide, I just don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. Tried my best to avoid Deadpool 3, the spoilers, but G&G disappointed me. I demand all my super chats to be refunded except this one because I'm kind. Jokes aside, please mind the spoilers. We're almost there. I get what you're saying. I gave a lot of fucking warning before I talked about those spoilers. So it is what it is.
That guy is still screaming at me about wanting his money back.
Is he in the chat now, that guy?
No, he commented on CobraCast like after the fact. And I'm like, dude, I read your super chat and I offered to refund you directly and waive all the fees just because you're so mad at me. And he still just, all he does is yells at me about that I'm a thief. Because I stole his money, even though he sent the money. Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah. Nothing. He just wants to yell. Fully problematic for 5. You blessed YouTube has been the bulwark between us and the awful Disney Star Wars. Thank you for your service. MAGA, Trump 2024, 199, Felon 47.
Hail.
If random people just come across, they see MAGA, Trump 2024, 199, Felon 47. They're like, what the fuck is going on here? VJ the Vigilant. Hail, guys. First time catching the daily, normally sleeping. I'm now down with Sebastian Stan as Luke.
Same.
I mean, dude they had playing Luke that had like dots on his face for the Book of Boba Fett looks exactly like fucking Luke Skywalker. Like, I don't know if he's a great actor or not, but he looks exactly like him. You could do it. And then you wouldn't be limited like they are now. They're limited with what they can do with him because of the technology and shit that they're trying to do. Just fucking recast if you're going to do it. Roger Tirazona for 5 or for 6. Screen Rant just shared Sith is like a slur, like the N-word used by Jedi. It's factually wrong as they're a species. They want to discredit Jedi.
There's no way they did that. There's no way. Did they really?
I wouldn't be surprised, but that's kind of funny. Yeah, for people that don't know, Sith were an actual species where essentially there was a big split and a bunch of Jedi essentially got sent away because they big disagreement, fallen Jedi, and they ended up on this planet inhabited by the Sith, and they kind of embraced them, and that's how they started becoming called Sith. So there's a story behind it. It's not just like a random word. But I think we're all caught up.
We are all caught up. Well, we got Tuesday night's main event tonight, so that's going to be fun. I've got videos to make, whether that be here on this channel or on D-Day Cobra. Again, this channel had the best month we have had in terms of views since 2020 last month. Since 2020. I had to look it up.
Since George Floyd.
Since George Floyd.
That's what you should do. You should put out a tweet. Geeks and Gamers just had our best month since George Floyd died. See how that gets taken.
I'm sure that'll go well.
Jason D for 2. What's up, my Siths?
Yeah. That's right. Thanks, Acolyte. That's right. And Dr. Disrespect. Those videos have been crushing. So I don't know if there's any. I'm gonna do like the quartering and just like literally just make a video about a topic that's doing good, even though I have nothing to talk about on the topic. That's what the quartering does with them. But yes, I do have multiple videos I'm going to be making, and we have Tuesday night's main event tonight, and then episode, is it 6? Yeah, episode 6 tonight. So I'll be covering all of that. But thank you guys so very much. Do appreciate it. Don't forget to go to Meta PCs. Use the promo code 199. If you're interested in getting yourself a new PC, you can go over there and get that from them and use the promo code 199. And this week, Ryan, maybe Thursday. You think Thursday we're going to do our ad read that Rumble got set up for us? Got an ad read. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be the greatest thing ever, Ryan.
It's going to change your life.
It's going to change your life.
For it. You'll need a great night of sleep. Helix mattress. No, that's not what we're doing. Taker for 2.
Raid
Jeremy.
Shadow Legends.
Oh, yeah. Jeremy, did Gollum super chat you? He stole it from us.
Yeah, that guy's mad. I don't. A lot of people are mad at me online just because it's the internet, but the guy sent me $100, and I do think he's being absolutely unrealistic at this point, considering I have offered to refund him because he was so mad that I didn't read it during that stream because I was so busy. But at this point, like, I've read it, I've apologized, and I've offered to refund you directly and waive all the fees, and you're still mad. At some point, I got to tell you to go fuck yourself. Like, good Lord. So we'll see if he actually responds.
Roland New, member for 15 months. Ryan, wasn't it a Junta Paul who started marrying the Jedi exiles to the true Sith race? I don't know that. A Junta Paul was like the leader of the Dark Jedi who were essentially banished and became the first Lord of the Sith. But I don't remember if it was him who started instituting that or not. Probably, though. Cole Lee for 2. I'm mad you guys aren't gay enough. That's a good thing to be mad about. And last one, Theseus Minor for 35. I'm not going to say what group, what entity is demoralizing the West by shitting on fictional heroic idols. It's BlackRock. I think this is supposed to be read like Kanye West. I'm not going to say what group, what entity is demoralizing the West by shitting on fictional heroic idols. Is BlackRock. I think that's how that's supposed to be read.
All right, with that said, we'll see you guys for main event tonight. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, whether on Rumble or YouTube. We had a huge crowd on Rumble again. And we'll see you guys for main event tonight. Talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.